The Green War on farming is a war on humanity. It's a genocidal ideology, and if you agree with me that the war on farmers must stop now, sign the petition at stopthewaronfarmers.com. Sheila Gunn Reid for Rebel News, and some of you may know that unlike what you'll see from journalists in the mainstream media, I'm actually a farmer, so I know a thing or two about what I'm about to say. There is a war on farming, and it's a global war. And that war on farming is a war on human health, human development, and human society. And the people waging this war see Neolithic, pre-farming humanity filled with all the violence, suffering, infant mortality, short lives, scarcity, and illness as the low-carbon net zero goal, the ideal, and not just a stepping stone to who and what we are now.
Global greenhouse gas emissions need to be slashed in half by 2030 and reach net zero around mid-century.
Humanity, all 9 billion of us, need food and an abundance of food. And farmers today do a pretty good job of producing it and keeping us all from starvation, malnutrition, and early death. No farmers, no food. Sane people know this, but the Green Movement, well, they have other plans that seem genocidal, frankly, on their face value, and governments so frequently infected by the United Nations and the World Economic Forum's anti-humanity agendas are often the sharp end of the spear in this war on productive, modern agriculture. Just last month, the Liberals here in Canada tried to label nutritious, healthy, locally grown Canadian beef as dangerous to your health, but pushback from the public put a stop to that label warning. And maybe pressure might do the same again and save farmers from the next unscientific attack on their work to feed the world and keep unwitting city people from dying of starvation in a concrete wasteland. We have seen a farmer uprising taking place in the Netherlands as Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte is imposing nitrogen emissions targets that could force farmers off their land, force farmers to cull livestock, and will limit fertilizer use that will shrink yields, harm farmers financially, and even cause food inflation at the grocery store for consumers. In Sri Lanka, right now, farmers were forced to move to fully organic farming, and the yields collapsed. Food is scarce, farmers are broke, and the people are rioting. Wars are fought, and civilizations have fallen over food and resource scarcity. And even after seeing all of this, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau here in Canada, who is clearly not a very smart man, is introducing those same nitrogen targets for Canadian farmers as are being forced on Dutch farmers. We're already being hammered by carbon taxes, inflation, and supply chain issues. And even if you're not a farmer, you should care, because if you eat, you're involved. Net zero climate policies are waging a war against farmers and consumers. It's a war for the future. Will you eat what you are meant to, or the bugs, because the World Economic Forum told you that that's what you should be eating? Will you stand with farmers as they resist these apocalyptic policies? I know I will. Ask yourself why the people in charge want you malnourished, weak, and unable to think for yourself. If you agree that the government and the global elite's war on farmers must end, please sign our petition at stopthewaronfarmers.com. For Rebel News, in my hayfield, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you agree with me that the war on farmers is a war on humanity, that these genocidal policies will lead to starvation and death, please sign our petition at stopthewaronfarmers.com.